hold. Good, now go. So this is a real, also notice how close I'm standing to him and he keeps his bar super tight. 19 years old, he's cleaned 170 kilos. Put that in your freaking notes. I'm gonna give you the ultimate exercise that every athlete should do, and we're gonna start right now. We got Evan right here, and he's gonna warm up doing PVC rollers. Okay, so he's gonna do PVC walks. He's doing this for about 3 sets of 15 meters. After that, Evan's gonna do split squats, 7 on each leg. Then I want him to do some barbell work, which I'm going to show you. Now, we're gonna go through variations and progressions of the ultimate exercise, and that is going to be the clean. And you guys that are clicking off right now, you suck at sports because you refuse to learn how to do cleans effectively. I'm even gonna give you variations that you don't need to rack the clean with, that we use with Alex Rose, who just got 3rd at Worlds in the discus throw. He's one of the most powerful athletes on the planet. So if you don't want to do this, by all means, let us keep smashing you in every single competition. Okay, so we're gonna go through, we're gonna give you the progression, okay, to do a clean, and then we're gonna give you like 4 or 5 different variations that you can use, and then we're gonna also teach you how to program this. So give me the split squats, 7 on each leg. Hurry up, Evan.
Just like regular.
Yeah, split squats like that. Good, 7 each leg. After this, I'm gonna get him to do some narrow overhead squats. Hopefully his shoulder's okay. You okay, little boo-boo bear? And then we're gonna go right into the actual progression for the clean. Okay, so he's just gonna use the bar on the progression. And as we go through that, I want you guys to either write it down, okay? Write down what that progression is or do it with me, okay? So you can take this video, go to the gym, you can set it up, and I'm gonna learn how to do this today instead of being a baby and not wanting to do cleans and having as many excuses as possible and then complaining I'm getting beaten by everybody. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try and solve that problem so that you can become a freaking champion. I just stumbled over my words when I was talking trash. Okay, narrow overhead squats, get the bar.
Okay.
After
I
you
want
hit
my Tokyo bar.
Oh my gosh, you're so annoying. I want my Tokyo bar.
I can't lift it if I don't have it.
I need my Tokyo bar. I'm Gen Z and entitled. I need to have the perfect equipment so that I can lift as heavy as possible.
I need to be optimal.
Okay, so Evan weighs about 70 kilos. He has cleaned 170 kilos. So all you guys are impressed by Division I collegiate football players that clean like 315. Evan's cleaned like 60 pounds more than that, okay? Also Evan's 19. Okay, give me 6 here. Try and pause on the bottom and keep the hands back over the shoulders a little bit more. Ooh, you're a little tight there, Evan. I mean, I know it's also hard because you're in your bare feet and your socky poos. Yeah, good. Okay, actually, give me one more with the PVC roller, and then we're gonna go right into the progression that we like to use. Okay, so the progression that we use, we'll go top down. We're gonna give you a really good movement that you can use for racking it. And then again, I mentioned this, we're gonna give you guys, if you have a really tight rack, I actually just did a podcast with Judd Leinhard yesterday, and he talked about how wrist can be a problem with him when he does his hand cleans. So he doesn't like to clean more than like once or twice a month. So I'm actually gonna give you guys one of the movements that we use with Alex Rose, because he also has the same thing with the wrist issue that you can use to become more explosive when we're doing cleans. Now, I think the biggest facet here around why we like to use cleans, specifically power cleans a lot, is that I wanna see tension off the floor. I wanna see somebody accelerate the barbell through the entire pattern. So a lot of people will throw out big words like compensatory acceleration, being ballistic, right? They'll say these big words, but then they don't do a clean. So they wanna have compensatory acceleration, which essentially means accelerating through the entire pattern. Okay, so like a weightlifting movement, they want to do things like being ballistic, so throwing a medicine ball, and based off of all of our data here, go back, do one more of the overhead squats. Based off of our data here at Garage Strength, we've seen if you have a higher clean, you throw medicine balls further. So this has a very direct correlation. Also, guess what? Evan has a 44-inch vertical. He can clean 170 kilos. He can zombie squat 160 for a triple. He can front squat double body weight for reps. There's a correlation between these lifts and being an absolute savage. So give me one more, and I want to define athleticism. Okay, that's good. Now, if we start off, okay, in this progression, the first thing that I want to do is that we want to just go simple, establish his clean stance. There you go. That's his clean stance. Next thing we want to do is we want to put our elbows, the crook of our elbows right outside of our knees. That's where he's going to grab, yeah, that's it. that's where he's gonna grab the bar. So those are the first two things that we wanna do. The next thing that we wanna do, in Evan's case, he can rack in a front squat position. So you can stand up and rack that. So this is easy. This is a cheat code for us because he already has this position. Now, what I want him to do is the weeks rack. Okay, so in the weeks rack, I want him to hold his barbell right underneath his sternum, if you can do this, a little higher elbows, and then just wrap the elbows under. Yeah, and then give me a set of 5 there, a little higher elbows. Good, give me 2 more. So this is the first part of the progression after we do, give me one more. After we establish the stance, and then we go through the actual grip. Okay, that's the first part of the progression. When we're pulling, we want to stay in that pulling stance. Okay, now, if you're somebody who does have really tight shoulders or really tight lats, one thing that you can do is you can roll out on a PVC roller, you can roll out your lats, you can do the prayer stretch before you do the weeks rack. The weeks rack though is absolutely fantastic for a new kid, a younger kid, learning how to clean. This is how we get kids who are 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. This is how we teach them how to clean. Okay, so go back to that weeks rack, give me 2, and then we're gonna go into the front squat position. So, good, one more. Good, okay, now move your feet slightly wider. Now give me like 5 front squats. So we're going top down here. We are not teaching the pull yet. We are just teaching the catch position. Okay, so when we pull, we're in a more narrow stance because we want to pull as long as possible. Okay, when we catch, we go a little bit wider so we can lower our center of mass. Now, what we're going to do, so we're learning that catch position. We go through the weeks rack, then we go through the front squats, we go through all the grip stuff. Now what I want you to do, Evan, yeah, I saw that. Now what I want you to do is go back to the pull. So we're gonna go back into your pulling stance, okay? And we're just gonna go here and bend the knees forward and the chest comes forward a little. And now I just want you to come up and it's good. Okay, 3 of those. It's like a literally just a standing high pull and he's not even re-bending into the catch. He's gonna use the weeks rack basically from the hip. Give me one more. Don't go as low on the next one. Right there, up. Okay, now one thing I want to point out, a lot of athletes when they start, okay, they struggle to make contact. This is the movement that we can really use. And what we want to do is we want to come forward and have our butt back and think about hip extension and keeping the bar on the thigh so that they have some tactile awareness. Okay, so give me one more. So we really want the bar in. Now come up, hip through, and then rack it. So we're combining, okay, that position with the weeks rack. Now do that again and then go into a front squat. Good, now you went a little quick. I wanted you to catch and then go, but that's fine. Okay, let's take a breather. Let's get Evan to get his shoes on. Let's get the cameraman to have a little bit of a break and then we're gonna go into the rest of this progression and then we're gonna give you 5 variations. So 5 variations and then how you can piece that into your program. Okay, now we're gonna go into the next part. So Evan's gonna pick that up. Remember, every single time that you're doing this, we want the foot stance. This is the pulling position, 1 foot width, that's easy. Elbows outside the crook here. That's how you're gonna pull. No matter what, this is how we're pulling, okay? And then we wanna get into the actual catch position. So let's go from here again. Give me from the above the knee, or above the, like right in the hip, into the catch, and then the front squat. Okay, good. One more, and then we're gonna go above the knee. We're gonna give you the rest of the actual progression. Good, okay, now go right above the knee here. And I want you, so this is where we're gonna start losing people with contact. The easiest thing to fix, okay, the easiest way to increase your vertical, to increase your explosiveness as an athlete is to learn how to make contact. I'll see guys online who will say, you don't need to do cleans. And then they might actually be doing cleans in their programs and their kids aren't even making contact. It's like, dude, unless you're teaching your kids how to make contact and you do that for 6 to 12 months and you still see no result, then you can't actually make this argument. Because I guarantee you 6 to 12 months of a 10 to 20-year-old kid making contact on a clean, every single thing that they do is gonna get better. Now, okay, above the knee, bring the hip through, catch in the power position. Yeah. And then go front squat. Yep, and then get down. Okay, one more. I wanna discuss here, when he catches, just slam on the brakes in the catch. Right there, now that's a power. So if he's catching anything essentially from here up, we consider that a power clean. Okay, anything from here down, That's a full clean. So we want to see good speed into that catch. Boom, boom, okay? And throw the brakes on. Will Rattel just did a little thing on this where he was like, catching a clean is yielding, okay? Yielding a weight. So a lot of people right now are throwing around the term yielding, right? Yielding plyometrics, which is great. It's cool. It's awesome. But cleaning or snatching or hitting a behind the neck jerk actually has this built in. So if we're on a time crunch or if we're in season, this is where we like to actually throw in more power cleans, more full cleans, because we can accomplish multiple different things. We can be ballistic. We can have compensatory acceleration. We can be yielding. We can do all of the big words that everybody throws around and get some strength work done. Okay, give me now, I want to go pause below the knee here. So what we want Evan to do is we want to come down, put the knees back. Now pause right there, knees back slightly more, right there. When Evan hit his recent PR, okay, he was pausing. He was coming off a box. He had cleaned like 160, which is like 355.
165.
165, okay? And he had cleaned it off of a box. And he was like, Dane, I want to make sure, hang on, hold it right there, bitch.
My hamstrings are sore, dude.
Okay, how about go through this, come up slowly, make contact, and hit a power clean. Good, okay, put it back down, put the bar down. I'll tell the story quick. So he's hitting this position off of a box, boom, right here, okay? Pausing, or if we pause the video, he's right here. When he went from the floor, his knees stayed forward a little bit more. So one thing that we like to do with the variations and with the progression, in this progression, when we're teaching a young kid who's 10, 12 years old, we will focus on where is their knee when the bar is at the bottom of their kneecap. Okay, if their knee is too far forward, that's gonna make the bar stay forward. So a lot of people who comment like, I missed the bar forward, I can't rack, yeah, I got tight lats or my wrists hurt because I always catch it like this. Well, you also catch it like this because your technique sucks. And you want to talk about having technique or being technically minded, but then you get offended by the fact that your clean pull sucks and you don't want to fix your clean pull, and then you blame the lift instead of just getting better at that lift, which will then carry over to all these other lifts like front squats, back squats, single leg squats, vertical jumps, broad jumps, sprints. But clean suck. Okay, now let's go back over this. So what we want to see here is when we use a variation like a one box clean, which I think is the absolute #1 variation outside of a power clean, we want to make sure that through the progression, his knees get to this point. Good, right there. Now come up, make contact, go. Good. Okay, now go down to the floor. I mean, on the pole. Yeah. A little lower. Go lower like the bar, yeah. So his knees are forward now. His knees are forward. Now the knees come back. Good, now go. Good, okay, so let's go over this real quickly. We've got, keep it right there. We got, set your foot position, okay? Set your grip. Get into that front rack position. Give me a couple of the weeks racks, give me 2 of them. This is the next step, go ahead. One more, good. Okay, now go above the hip, go from the hip into the power clean. Good, now go above the knee. Power clean. Now go below the knee with a pause with the knees back, shins vertical, right there, good. Okay, clean. Now go from the floor. Good, okay, so that's the progression right there. What we just showed you in 30 seconds is a progression. Memorize that, write it down, do this every single freaking day, do that as a warm-up. Now, we're gonna give you 5 variations that you're gonna be able to use, but use this progression over and over again, okay? Every single day as a warm-up, even on your upper body days, every single day. Now we're gonna get into those five variations, okay? And we're gonna go through how you can apply this so that you can do the #1 ultimate exercise, which again is a power clean. So you already have that, it's a power clean, but now we're gonna build on that power clean so you can become an even bigger freak. There's 2 aspects here that I want to cover. We're going to go through the whole program, okay, and where you can piece these in. The second aspect is that we have our own strength training program inside of our strength training app, Peak Strength. It's the first link in the description, okay? Peakstrength.app is the website that you can go to. You can also go to the Apple iOS store. You can go to the Google Play Store. Download Peak Strength. We use cleans, and you will have these progressions inside the app. Okay, so this is how we program our freak athletes. This is how we get all of these Olympians. This is how we help you get to that next level specifically. And inside of that, okay, you can use it on an Olympic weightlifting track, or you can just say, hey, I want to train for sports performance. I want to be a better football player, whatever it might be. You can select that specific exercise or select that specific sport. Now, when we go through this, I like to program, and you'd see this inside Peak Strength, is that day one is typically going to be a heavy strength day. Okay, day two, if we're a sports performance, is going to be more upper body work. Day three would be something like an athlete day. And sometimes you might have, if you're only training 3 days a week, you might have a clean variation on that athlete day. Okay, if we have impulse day, we're going to have another clean variation. So this might be something speed related. Okay, so that's how we like to think about when we're looking at our variations. We compile them, and we basically have like competitive variations, technical variations, strength variations. That's how we actually tag them inside of the app. Okay, so when we go through these variations, I'm going to tell you which one is which and which day they would be on when we're building that out. So you, again, take notes. We're giving you a progression. We're giving you how to program this. We're giving you all this stuff for free. And you should go to peakstrength.app, download that today so you can actually stop being a bitch. Okay, let's go. Let's go with a low hang clean is going to be the first one. Now, low hang clean is one of the best movements to teach a full clean because you have an eccentric. Okay, so everybody that they're all the French contrast guys. They're like the triphasic. Yeah, we gotta do eccentrics all the time, but we don't want to do low hang cleans because even though there's an eccentric and it helps me be a better athlete, I don't want to do hang cleans because they're actually not necessary for a triphasic. But you're full of shit. Okay, let's go. Pick that up. Start here. Go low hang clean so you feel that eccentric position, and I want you to go in the full. Okay, and then go. Good. One more. So he's going nice and controlled on the way down. Knees go back right there. Yep. Boom. Nice and tight. Perfect. Did you just fart?
No.
Okay, that's good. It was very heavy. Okay. So you're seeing on the low hang clean, what happens is you get an athlete, a younger kid, who's 12, 13, 14 years old, and they set their back. And when they set their back and you tell them, okay, we want the knees to work in reverse. So as they lower, their knees go forward. And then as they go past the knees come back. So they start to feel what their knees need to be doing. They feel the tension in their back. They feel the tension in their torso. And then because of that hang clean, there's this connection from hip to catch, hip to catch, hip to catch. They start to feel the hip extension into that rack with the elbows. Okay, great work. Now, next thing I want you to do, pull from the floor, pause below the knee. Okay, so the first variation, that low hang clean, would be done typically on day one, on a heavier day. Now this one would be a strength variation. This would be usually on day 2 or day 1. Up. Now, what I would cue Evan on, because he's ADHD boy, is that I want to, here, go back down. Pull a little slower to below the knee. Don't just rush through it. Pull slower, hold. Good, now go. So this is a real, also, you notice how close I'm standing to him and he keeps this bar super tight. 19 years old, he's cleaned 170 kilos. Put that in your freaking notes. Okay, now, the best part about that pause is essentially as we teach a kid how to do a low hang clean, we know that we can get them strong enough in their posterior chain that the next thing that we can teach them on is a pause below the knee from the floor. Okay, so those are very challenging movements. Those are two really, really challenging movements. So give me one more where you pause there, and I want you to hold it for like 4 seconds because this is another great way to increase that posterior chain strength. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. Okay, good. Now, when I grew up, Husker Power was a big thing. Okay, so everybody knew about Husker Power. And this next exercise is what we grew up doing at an early age. Okay, so when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, we would see videos of all these guys from Nebraska, like Amon Green would be doing this, who was an absolute dog running back for the Packers back in the day. And they would be doing this next movement. And this is another movement similar to the low hang clean, but it's a little bit easier. And you'll see a lot of big football programs do this. I love this lift. I love this from a power perspective. It's something you could do on a speed day, on an athlete day, and then we're going to show you the full version of it as well that you could do on a really, really heavy day. Some of our athletes, someone like Kai Kazuka, who's an alpine snowboarder, recently just cleaned 100 kilos with this. So give me a high hang clean into a power. And this is gonna be more of like a speed-based lift because it's a shorter range of motion and you're catching it tall. Boom, good, one more. A little tighter on that catch. Stop being a little bitch on that catch. Good, okay, now one more from the full. I mean, into the catch. Okay. Full catch. Go lower, up fast. Boom, good, good. Okay, good, perfect. Okay, so those are 3 lifts. So we got the low hang clean, we got the pause below the knee clean, and then we got the high hang clean. The high hang clean, I would use more impulse or an athlete day, so day 3 or day 4. Those 3 are absolutely fantastic. I want to get one box out here, so give us a little bit of a, we're going to go on a little break. While we're on a break, you guys can head over to peakstrength.app. You can download the app right now, and then we'll get back into this video.
Cameraman's getting the boxes out. I'll tell you that for sure.
3 minutes, 30 seconds later.
2 hours later.
Okay, so the next lift that we're gonna get into is a 1-box clean. So a lot of you guys might not have access to boxes. So if you don't have access to boxes, that's where you can use that pause below the knee. That's where you can use a low hang clean. Now, boxes are literally the best thing for sports performance, okay? Someone like Nick Singleton cleaned 160 kilos in high school. And a lot of people say, was Nick a freak? Nick was a freak because he learned how to clean when he was in 6th grade, and he cleaned 2 to 3 days a week until he graduated, went to Penn State, and now he's one of the best running backs in the history of the program at Penn State. And it's because of lifts like the 1-box clean. The reason why I love 1-box cleans is it decreases the range of motion, so the impulse expression has to be much higher, meaning you have to apply force in a very short time frame. And then the second big factor is that we like boxes, 1-box, 2-box, because it tends to be a little bit easier on their lower back. So we can actually do a very heavy lift from a 1-box or a 2-box and still push their back squats or single leg squats in the exact same session. Okay, so we can get a lot of tension onto an athlete in one session. So this is something you would be doing on day 1. Okay, so Evan's gonna demonstrate this as a 1-box clean. Give me a power first and then a full. So really we're giving you variations of like a power and a full for each of these other variations. So really you're getting like 10 exercises. And I think that's another big factor with doing cleans is that you can change, good. Give me another power and then we'll do one full. Is that you can really change things in your program just based off the range of motion being a power or full plus the starting position. But you guys are still dead set on compensatory acceleration, but then you don't want to do a weightlifting movement. Well, that makes sense to me. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Okay, good. Now that's, I would argue, like our mainstay, something that we do probably the most with all athletes. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, the next thing, this is the 5th variation. This is the power clean. This is the ultimate lift that you guys can do. And move this forward here. When we talk about the power clean, one thing I want to bring up is that I don't want to see like a starfish position. I don't want to see...
Yo, put in Tamon Johnson.
Put in Tamon's video, yeah. I don't want to see that bullshit, okay? We are technically minded, and I always bring up technical aggression, okay? So if you're in wrestling, right, if you're a wrestler, you have to apply a lot of force with technique. If you're a shot putter or a discus thrower, let's just hypothetically say that you're Alex Rose, who's the world bronze medalist, and he's trained with garage strength for 10 years, you've got to do things with technique and aggression. So why not get better at doing that in the weight room, please? Okay, so I just remembered, we have to show the pump cleans first for Alex, and then we're gonna get into that power clean. So I want you to go here from the floor, pump, back down, pump. And this is for the crowd out there that is unable to do a rack. And maybe I should demonstrate this because I can't rack a clean anymore. Is that this would be probably my favorite thing, and I'll show you 2 versions of this. So really, goddamn, you guys are getting like 12 lifts right now because I'm going to show you, plus the progressions, plus the days that we're actually giving you when you can do these lifts. So this would be, you know, a version of what Alex has done throughout the season to get to the point where he is ripping 405 for this for like triples. Okay, so we would go here, and he would go from the floor, boom. And notice I'm still making contact. I'm going up, boom, okay? Now, if you're somebody who's going into a big peak, okay, I like to see flexion, extension, flexion, extension, flexion, extension, rapidly. And when you can do that rapidly, that's when you get a good rhythm, okay? And you coordinate very, very effectively. So that would look like this. I go from the floor, boom, boom, boom. So you could do that for like 5 doubles. Alex did that this past 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, 4 days out from Worlds. He did that with 315 before he became world bronze medalist. So that's a variation. You would do the rhythm pulls on impulse day. You could do the heavier pulls on that day 1, okay? Now, give me a power clean, regular power clean from the floor. And then I'm gonna give you guys a complex, my favorite complex for sports performance athletes. Good, one more. Good. And now the next part here is weightlifters can do this. I like a lot of football players to warm up with this. Now you're gonna go power clean, full clean, okay? So we're gonna go through that complex, power clean, full clean. And what this does is it helps you transition into that catch. So we're taking the things like the pauses, that the hangs, all those different lifts, and now we're gonna go power clean, full clean. And what ends up happening, if you get football players to get comfortable with transitioning from the power to the full, eventually doing that for 3 to 4 months in a row, you're gonna get to the point where they're gonna start hitting PRs when they're warming up with their power cleans. This kid Garrison Larson, I think his name is, actually just DM'd me, just cleaned 1.6 times body weight, kid in high school. And he's a football player, and he's like, yo, I did a lot of power cleans before I hit this 1.6 times body weight clean. Dude weighs like 200 pounds, so he's cleaning like 370. Again, these are all things that you can do. So we went through the progressions, we went through the days that you can program this, we went through how applicable this is gonna be to you specifically, and if you can't rack, we even gave you options, 2 lifts that you could use if you can't rack the actual clean. So you got 0 excuses. Okay, you wanna cover that compensatory acceleration, you wanna cover that ballistic work, you wanna cover explosive training. These are all the different lifts that you can do. Power clean is the ultimate lift for athletes. If you need help with that programming, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. If you want more content like this, click on this card right here, because remember, freaks. If you want to become an Olympian or one of the best in your sport, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.
You're just gonna record me until I'm uncomfortable. There's no way this makes the video either, so it's not like you're gonna do anything with it. There's no reason. Just sitting there looking into your camera, looking at me.